Yeah. We live, y'all. We live. It's another Saturday. It's the DanYo&Tita podcast. We back.
We are back.
Back safe and healthy around here.
Mm-hmm. Happy Halloween to everyone out there.
Definitely happy Halloween.
Yes.
It is the 31st.
Yeah, it is.
The nightmares come out, right?
Mm-hmm. The freaks come out at night.
Freaks come out at night, and there's going to be a couple. I know people throwing some Halloween parties, so have y'all fun.
How you having COVID Halloween parties?
I don't know how that works,
Okay.
but we will not be participating.
Me either.
But let's get the show started. I am Daniel.
I am Tita.
Aisha.
I am the dip to the lean.
Yes. You know,
Sorry for the pause.
Sorry for the boss. And you know how we start the show. We have to shout out our sponsors because they keep the lights on for us. www.waywardkid.com. They also have the Wayward Kid Foundation for all your entertainment, news, sports, and lifestyle trends, and have editing programs for the kids. So make sure you like their Facebook page, Wayward Kid, and follow them on IG, Wayward Kid Online.
We also have Kiwi Juice Bar with all natural smoothies, fresh pressed juice, nutritional education, and they're also offering weekly meal prep. They will go to the grocery store for you and prep your meals.
And we have I Shine, You Shine, We Shine. We Shine Detailing. Make your car shine like new. Check out their Facebook page and their videos. They're always sharing great content. Like their Instagram page also.
Definitely. And who do we have? Novels by Z?
Novels by Z. The game isn't only for boys. Experience the game told from the other side. You can get your very own signed copy at www.novelsbyz.com.
I think Tita got the book in her bag. You got the book?
I do.
Show it off that book. Okay. Now, was that the Games by Boys right there?
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
Novels by Z.
And, you know, Aisha and Tita did read that book to the fullest. It's definitely for the ladies.
Definitely.
Definitely for the ladies.
Definitely for the ladies.
Definitely.
We also have Ms. Joanne Mohammed with her latest book.
What's that?
Her newest book. And it's out.
It's out.
This is not up for sale,
that
but
is
that's not how
nice.
it looks.
Yeah. That's a nice cover
that's
right
nice.
You
there.
see how beautiful my mother-in-law
Yeah,
looks?
congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations, sir. She's got her back
Definitely.
out. I think if you go to Amazon.com and search Joe and Dumas, Dumas, you can order the book. Should come to you like in a week, I believe.
Yes.
Good book. And we also have KT Gibson. With his
Low Main.
Low Main. Check out his mixtape. It's called 7 Sequel, I believe. It's on Spotify. And when you know we did a skit for that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That was
Excellent.
You got to do another one. I told him. And we also have Trinity Promotions for all your promotion needs, prints, all that, T-shirts, graphics, designs, and all that. And don't forget the $1 Million Teacher Project.
Yes.
Yeah,
Let's help the teachers help the
definitely.
kids.
Yes.
They are the future.
Yes, they are.
Mm-hmm.
They are. We were once kids. And
Bad
going to school.
kids.
Bad kids.
Horrible.
Yes, and y'all. And so make sure you go to Million Dollar Teacher Project's Facebook page.
Like
They
the
have-
page.
Like the page, and they have all the links available. Donate to them.
Yep, and they have Twitter too. They're also always sharing great content. So
Definitely.
make sure you like and follow their pages.
Definitely. And we have a special guest today.
Mm-hmm.
A school teacher. A great school teacher.
Yep,
That's for the kids.
definitely.
1 in a million winner.
1 in a million.
$1 Million Teacher Project. I gotta shout them out again. Ma'am, please introduce yourself.
My name is Monica Baird, and I'm a teacher in the Alhambra Elementary School District.
There you go.
Soft spoken. I don't see you yelling at the kids.
I can. I really can.
I don't see that happening.
Me.
I don't. Miss Monica has been too nice. I know
Right.
when Miss Monica first came in, just so nice.
She's so nice. She's so soft spoken.
Right. Miss Monica, how long you been a teacher?
This is my 12th year.
12
Wow.
years. Wow.
Wow, I would have said second year.
Oh, no. Okay. Good 12.
Well.
Another 12 more years, and then she gonna be like, all right, y'all.
No, I am like that. I really am. I have a teacher voice, but this is not the place for it.
Right. Okay. I have to believe it when I see it.
Right.
It's because she's one of those nice teachers, you know.
Right.
The ones who are actually nice, not like the mean people.
Not the mean people.
Not the ones you remember like, oh, I had her for 6th grade.
Right.
They love her.
I just hope none of my students are listening.
So
I hope they all listen.
Right. So what do you teach in your class?
So for 11 years, I taught special education
Okay.
in Alhambra District. But this year, I'm teaching business in the 6th, 7th, 8th middle school. My superintendent, because I have a business, asked me to lead that program and open it up. So we have the Choice Learning Academy in Alhambra School District, and I'm teaching the business classes over there, entrepreneurship to the students.
Wow. I didn't know that was offered.
I didn't know that was offered either.
Yeah, this is our first year.
Oh, first year? Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, what made you get into special education?
You know, I was in real estate prior, and you know, when you have real estate and you're getting started, you need to do something else to kind of pay the bills. And so I started substitute teaching. And when I substitute, I taught everything from, I taught a sex ed class, which I don't recommend to anybody.
Okay.
I taught preschool, you know, every class, music, PE, all of it. But every time I went into a special education classroom, I just fell in love, and I knew that that's where I wanted to be.
So what do you think the challenges are being a special ed teacher?
There's lots of challenges. There's financial challenges. It takes lots of resources to teach special education students, and the money's not there all the time. Parents are a challenge. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
You know, it's hard to work with parents when their child has some special needs.
Definitely.
They don't believe that there's a challenge in their student. They think their student can do everything everybody else does, which is not always the case. So denial on the child's part as well.
Right.
And then just support from teachers on campus. It's a different world to teach special education. And you know, a lot of teachers don't realize the effort that it takes, the patience that it takes. They think that these kids can do everything everybody else does. And if that was the case, they wouldn't be in a special education class. So, you know, there's lots of understanding that needs to come with being a special education teacher on everybody's part, not just mine as the teacher.
Right. How many students?
So last year I had a self-contained class, so it was a small group of students. I only taught, I had about 12 students.
Okay.
But this year in the business class, I have 144 students.
Wow.
See, that's a large number right
It
there.
is.
At the same time, or you
No, we have
throughout the day?
Yeah, throughout the day.
Okay.
So my classes, I have a class of 46. I have two
That's
classes
like a regular
of about
class.
30. They're not all sped students this year.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
No, I'm
Okay.
teaching business to
Right,
middle
right,
school.
business.
Right.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. So what kind of curriculum do you guys go over? Is it more adding math? Is it more going over statistics and things like that of business?
So we are starting off right now in the beginning of the program, but it's definitely finance is where we're going to head. We're doing lots of you know, what it takes, investments, networking financially and otherwise, and business planning and all that good stuff.
So you're teaching them how to keep their credit going and the importance of knowing how to balance your checkbook and all those things like that. Yeah, those are great.
It is.
Yeah, that's
I
definitely.
really believe in it because, you know, as a teacher, I know this might not be the best thing to say, but I think those are skills that are a little more needed at times.
It is.
So it is important, especially for the community that
Definitely.
I teach in. You know, we get overlooked a lot of times and they don't have that understanding of
Definitely.
finances. So in order to be successful, you need that.
Definitely.
So it is important. Even if they don't choose to go into business, it's just good information that they can definitely use throughout
Yes,
their life.
definitely. I think that some people think that you can just start a business without the knowledge that you need and you can just go and be successful.
Exactly.
And they don't realize that most businesses fail.
Right.
And you have to be prepared for those things.
Right.
And I don't think that everyone knows the failure rate and understands that what you have to be prepared for
Absolutely.
to make sure that your money and everything's in line, and also your portfolio, if your business, if you want to have a loan, all the things that comes, you know, and all the aspects that comes in trying to own a business. You know, it's many steps you have to take, not just I have an idea, I want to start a business. So.
Definitely. And like I said, I can relate. You know, last time I said I was in special ed about 3 years. I was in special ed. I know Tita said she was for a couple years in special ed.
High school and some of elementary school.
So I know the challenges. I was a challenge myself, so
Right.
See, but back then they wouldn't separate us from, you know, the kids with special needs, like, you know, disabilities and then, like, you know, mental disabilities. There's, now it's separated. They have, like, you know, people with, you know, wheelchair accessibility, you know, they're not able to hold. They have muscular, you know, deficiency. And then the people who just have, like, you know, just a disability and stuff.
Yeah,
so that's good that now they, you know, they make the classes more for the kids.
Yeah, there's different sizes, but it seems like they're she's not that throwing everybody in one classroom.
They do try to incorporate all students in all areas and then just pull them out for those special areas that they need support in, because just because a student has a learning disability doesn't mean they need learning disability support in every area.
Right.
So it's important to give them that support where they need it.
Okay.
I think we have a question.
Maybe dyslexic if they need
Just for
reading.
Exactly.
Or they may have the dyslexia of numbers.
Right. Dyscalculia.
Dyscalculia,
Yes.
yeah. So it just kind of differs on what the student needs at that time.
And it's important. I think, a lot of times people overlook the needs emotionally of students.
Yeah.
And if they don't need help in math, why put them in the class if they're getting that support? So it's really important to give them what they need when they need it for their confidence as well.
Definitely.
I think we had a question. Actually, from Leonard
Croft.
Croft. Shout out to Croft.
Shout out.
How would you recommend starting the conversation with a friend when you identify their child may have special needs? She says, like, how would you suggest that a friend makes the recommendation to have them evaluated?
That is a very hard conversation to have. Because,
definitely.
It does take time to process and for people to accept the fact that there may be a challenge with their child.
Right.
So it is a hard conversation to have.
Very tough.
And other people usually realize it before the parents realize it. But it's necessary.
Yeah.
So I would approach it very gently and let them know these are some things that I've seen. Have you looked into this? Have you thought about this? Have you noticed that? Maybe start the conversation that way and see the response that you get, because it just might not be the right time.
Right.
If they're pushing back, like, what are you talking about? This? No.
Right.
Then okay, maybe they're not ready for that conversation. But the seed has been planted, so maybe you can come and revisit it a little bit and just I would keep going back gently and, saying, I see this, because earlier that you can get the help for the student, the better it is for the student. So you just have to be gentle in that conversation.
Yeah. So, I know it's a tough conversation when you have ego and pride.
Absolutely.
Everybody thinks their child is number one and the smartest kid in the world. So when you come to that and you have to be recommended to someone and you still don't want to listen, it's a tough situation. I know it's tough on you guys. So for me, I would think that it would be better for the student to try to get them in a situation where they can be helped to make sure that they can get past and make it through. So people have to look at that in that way also.
Definitely. I know we have a listener, David Burns. He said he's going through it with his son right now.
It's tough.
And he also, I think you answered it earlier, is it hard for you to teach at a special ed level? What's the grades you teach special ed?
I have taught from 4th grade to 8th grade.
Wow.
This year, I'm focused on 6th, 7th,
Right.
and 8th grade. So.
Okay.
6th, 7th, at middle school.
That's at middle school, yeah. That's when I think that's around the time they start realizing this is my child.
Right.
Special ed, yeah.
Which is way too late.
Right.
Too late. Yeah, I know. That's why.
Yeah, they
Definitely
should
is
have
late,
start
yeah.
getting it in grade school.
Yep.
Yeah. Even before that, you can identify some needs in your student or your child as early as preschool and prior to that. Even delays, like if, say, at 3 months your child should have been rolling over and they're not. Those are things that you want to take into consideration and think about, and start really saying, let me watch this closer, because he's not rolling over now. Is he delayed in his speaking? It could be because you speak 2 languages at home, so not a concern. But if there's a single language and they're not picking it up, again, this is a concern.
Right.
And the earlier you get intervention, the better it is for your child.
Right. Tita, tell the story about you. They didn't know you didn't speak English until what grade? What was that?
So,
The teacher?
my teacher didn't know I spoke English till I was like in 2nd grade. So,
So
my
you were just sitting in the class.
my home is bilingual, so there's more Spanish than English. I would understand some English, but till this day they all talk Spanish on both sides. My grandparents, on my mom's side, my grandma's side, from my dad's side, they're from Chicago, but they were raised in a Spanish community.
Right.
So it's still a Spanish. So it was fluent Spanish. There was no English in there.
It's weird that Tita was from 1st grade, 2nd grade, just letting her slide through. She didn't know no English.
And then like 2nd grade, I had a friend that she would always like translate. I'm like, what is that again? Like I knew what it was, but I wasn't like 100%. So then a new teacher came in. Her name was Miss Cortez. I remember she asked me. She said, "Do you understand?" And then she would tell me in English, and I was like, "Yeah." And then she would ask me the same question in English and in Spanish, and I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, and then she's like, "Oh." So then she pulled me out, and she's like, she talked to my mom and everything, and then then I was in staff for since second grade, from first to second grade. Then I got transferred to a different school, so I had to kind of restart all over again.
Wow. So teachers have to pay attention.
Yeah, that's tough.
All those students in there.
Yeah, that's one when it's a lot of students. You know, it makes it even tougher.
And just because somebody understands like the basic conversation doesn't mean
it took for a whole new teacher to come in and notice that you was having trouble, or
you never know
someone else
what was going on.
The language for you, so you could understand what's being taught in the class.
Because you know the basic like milk or yes, please, thank you. But when they start conversating like and you answering back, then people realize it's like, oh wait. So Spanish was my first language, and then it was English.
Definitely. So have you been teaching through Zoom?
Actually, WebEx, but
it's
the
same thing. Right.
It's the same thing.
How's that experience?
Initially, it was a huge challenge because it's nothing that we were used to. We really focused on Google Classroom to keep our lessons and do all that. And again, when you're in the classroom, you don't access it like that.
Right.
So it was a learning curve for me as a teacher. So I'm trying to learn this and teach it at the same time. And so it was a lot. But now I really enjoy it, actually, more than I thought I would. Do I miss my students? Absolutely. The loves, the hugs, that that eye contact, and really seeing if they're okay. I do miss that. But I enjoy teaching, from home, online with the kids. And there are a few who really engage, and that makes it good. But there's definitely more who choose not to. So if you're parents at home and you're listening to this, I'm begging you, have your student engage with their teacher if they're learning online, because it makes a huge difference for the teacher, for the lesson, for your student.
Right. You mean just commenting into the comment section, just saying things?
Just seeing their faces. They turn their cameras off, so you don't see their eyes. I don't know how they're doing, so it would be nice to see. You can see a glazed look on somebody's face, and they don't get it.
There's a lot of parents that fear teachers, They don't wanna. What's it called?
See their people see their homes.
Yeah.
But most of these streaming sites, WebEx, they offer backgrounds that you can use. So if you ashamed of how your home is looking at the time, look into using the background, and you can use a fake background, and it doesn't have to be seen what's going on in the home. Exactly. So I understand those things, but we have to try to do everything we can we can make sure they're being incorporated into everything.
Exactly.
So.
We have a question once again on the chat. We have how do you recommend parents have that communication with their child? What happened? Oh no. 1 second. How do you have that conversation with the parent? Kind of conversation with their child that they're going to take them out of the regular classrooms and put them into special ed?
If I was in that situation and I had a child that had to be moved from the general classroom to a sped classroom, I would just share with them, everybody needs what they need at their own pace. We see that this is a challenge for you, so we're going to put you in a classroom that's going to give you the support that you need in this area. Like I said, most students are not receiving special education services in all areas. There's a small population of students who get it in all areas. But so you might tell your student, every time we get your report card in math, you're failing. We don't want that for you. We want you to be successful. So we're going to put you in this class so you get the help that you need. So if you frame it that is beneficial to them, I think they'll support that.
I know when my mother told me I was going to special ed, I was like, no.
And that's the thing, that your first reaction is like, my friends are going to make fun of me.
Yeah, I thought my friends were going to make fun of me. Then I realized
most of them are already in there.
Exactly.
I was like,
100% dip.
I said, Willie, you got a class? He said, yeah, man, I got issues reading. But people don't know the difference. Yep. That's because as you're in the kids, you don't know. You're thinking it's kids and sometimes kids in wheelchairs or anything. No, man, you have issues in this area, and you need that extra attention in that area. Yeah, and that's what it is. I had speech.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
man.
So I have growing up, I wasn't in there full day, but I had like 2 classes here.
Yeah.
The next year I had 3 classes here, and you just need extra attention.
And some people use recorders, some people use a note taker, so there's a lot of little things. I would have loved to have a note taker now, like when I was going to college. Yeah. It's like, but and then now they offer stuff like that,
And then at the same time, when I got into high school, they would have an A with me. In the regular classes,
right?
Just to make sure you understand
right.
what you're just saying. So you know what I'm saying. So it's not bad at all. I think that,
to make sure you're comprehending.
Yeah, just exactly. So
I don't think a lot of people realize that special education is a range. It's not a particular classroom. It's not like when somebody says you're going to special education, it doesn't mean you're going in the classroom in the corner,
right?
With just you and a teacher. It means that we're looking at your area of concern and we're supporting that particular area.
Exactly.
And it might just be for an hour a day.
Exactly.
It
definitely
doesn't have to be. It could be behaviors that are 15 minutes of conversation with someone. It's definitely a huge range of support.
Definitely.
And it actually was a meeting for me. It was a meeting with my parents and the teachers that got me into special ed. They're like, Daniel sits in the back of the class. I don't think he knows. He just sits back there,
And I hear your story and your wife's story, and it hurts my heart because it shouldn't have taken that long.
Right, right.
Yeah.
We do have things in place, especially in my district. We do 45-day screeners. So within the first 45 days, you have to identify if there's a kid in your classroom who needs any kind of support, and then what can we do to help them. And that's how it should be. It shouldn't be years that, she sat in a classroom and nobody realized she didn't understand.
Crazy.
That's ridiculous.
But she told me that story. I was like, that is crazy.
Yes.
It was pretty much like that not with special education, with vision for me, because all through middle school, I literally could not see the board. And it was a point to where I would literally go stand up as close as I could to the board just to take my notes. And it literally took one of my 8th grade teachers to be like, hey, you need to have her vision checked out. She's standing in front of the classroom just to take notes. She can't see.
Right.
Yep.
Wow. And it's those little things that make a huge difference, and we as teachers should be paying attention to.
Definitely.
So, what made you become a teacher? What was your inspiration?
As now on this side of it, 12, 13 years in, I realized when I was little, I would make my brothers do summer school. In the summer, like, sit down, I'm teaching, get your notebook and do this. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I was really struggling in making them do this, but it was fun for me. But as you get older, you think that what I'm supposed to do is a business that makes money, so I went into real estate. I have my first degree in real estate development, and I'm thinking, that's success. And I hated it. It didn't fulfill me at all. So when I stepped into the classroom, I realized it doesn't matter how much money I make, I'm happy, and this is what I want to do. And I shared with Lloyd on several occasions, yes, teachers don't get paid what they deserve to get paid.
Right.
Definitely.
However, if you are smart about what you're doing in the academic world, it can be lucrative. So I think, I'm in a comfortable situation. Am I a millionaire by being a teacher? No. But
well, you are a millionaire. You're one in $1 million teacher.
right.
I'm sure you have a lot of students and like family that admire you, because it's like I wish I would have had a teacher like you when I was younger.
Yeah.
That fight for students' rights and everything.
Definitely. See.
So how do you deal with some of the social issues that's going on outside of the classroom? Some of the political things, some of the social battles, Black Lives Matter. Do you guys speak on those things, or you try to keep those things outside of the classroom?
It is sensitive, a topic that we have to be careful about because we don't want to impose our personal views on anybody. But I am thankful in the district that I work in that they do allow us to have these conversations, and they explain to us how we should present the topics. If you go to the website, and I'm not here to promote the school, and so I don't want to have that conversation, but, go to your school district's website and see what they say about it. And my school district, they definitely are aware of what's going on. They're aware of the students in their community and what they need. And so we are having conversations, so to speak, around all of the things that are of concern to us as a community. And so I think that's one of the reasons I'm also very happy in my district, because they do allow us to have a voice in those kind of things.
Yeah, that's important. Definitely.
See? And we get it somewhere, y'all. I appreciate it.
That's awesome.
Most definitely. Yo, let's see if we have a game today. I think we have a game for you. You ready for the game, Miss Monica?
Okay.
She's on a surprise.
Y'all see she struggled with.
Oh no.
Okay.
Well, because I'm nervous. Like,
Sorry, nobody likes her game, and it's not because it's a really good game, but the questions are a little tough.
oh no.
So it just depends your subject. So don't
I
feel.
don't think they're tough. I just think
Don't
they're
embarrass
more or
me.
less random at times.
See,
The-
look, I thought we had conversation.
We do have to. I'm letting you know. I'm letting you know, and
So
then
she didn't put you
No,
up on the game.
she did not.
That's my girl.
it's like I have to meet both halfways.
Oh no.
All right. So, in the trivia game, we have 5 questions for you.
Oh my goodness.
You get 3 out of 5 correct. We'll donate $50 to your charity of choice. You have 3 lifelines. You can call someone.
Oh, okay. I'll call my daughter. I already know who I'm calling. That's good.
And you could put her on speaker, or you could
You can Google a question, in which case we'll give you 45 seconds. Or you may skip the question.
Oh my goodness, like I'm all sweaty. I always wanted to do this, but now that I'm in this position, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't think this is a good idea.
All right. Which continent is the largest? Is it A, Asia, B, Africa, C, North America, or D, Antarctica?
I know it's between Asia and Africa. Goodness,
You know this one.
stop the pressure. I am going to go with Africa. It's Asia.
It's Asia.
I knew it. Okay, I'm gonna listen to my stomach next time. Not only am I embarrassed, I gotta get the song too.
Daniel.
I'm sorry. Everybody gets it.
Oh no. Okay.
What is your body's largest organ? A, the skin, B, the stomach, C, the intestines, or D, all of the above?
The skin.
Yep.
Yay.
The skin.
I knew that one.
I knew that one.
Yeah,
So far, I'm 2 for 2.
I knew that
2
one
for
also.
2.
What is the common name for dried plums? A, prunes, B, dates, C, chips, or D, none of the above?
Prunes.
Prunes is correct.
You should have just skipped that first question.
So 2 for 3, correct? Okay.
Which bones are babies born without? A, kneecap, B, elbows, C, eyesight, or D, none of these?
Oh, I have lifelines, right? 50,
Yes.
50. I'm gonna call somebody.
All right.
I'm gonna call my daughter. She's not ready for this, but she's getting it.
She gonna get ready.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna call her. Hopefully she answers.
Mm.
It's her birthday today,
Okay. Oh,
so
We-
she might be ignoring me.
we might sing happy birthday.
Right? Oh, you are there. Happy birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
You are live on the radio podcast, just so you know. We're playing a game, and I have a question. So you are my lifeline. So you better help me get this right. Tell Leo, everybody, you guys better get this right. There's a lot on the line. Yes.
The question is, which bone are babies born without? Is it A, kneecap, B, elbows, C, eyesight, or D, none of these?
What should we go with? Which bones are babies born without?
What was C? I couldn't hear that one.
B, elbows.
This should be easy.
Should it be?
I think this one should be easy. From what I'm seeing.
A, kneecap, B, elbow, C, eyesight. Or D, none of these.
You said C, eyesight?
Yes. Well, that's not a bone, so we know that one.
Right.
Come on, Genesis.
Says which bone are babies
Kneecaps,
born
elbows, or none of these?
without? Kneecaps, elbows, or none?
Yes.
Or none.
Yes.
None of these. Not none. None. No
Say
bones, period.
none.
We're going to say what?
D. They're
None
going
of
with D.
these.
They're going with D.
And that's
none
wrong.
of these.
Uh-huh.
That is
Yeah,
incorrect.
correct. Yeah.
That's 2 times.
It's A, kneecaps.
The A
Kneecap.
is A, kneecap.
You know, that's what my tummy said. Go check Nia right now and see if she has some kneecaps. So we can tell them they're wrong.
Right.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
All right. I'll call you back later, okay? Goodbye. All right, we tried.
So where we at? Oh, 4.
That's 4.
Oh,
She's
no.
gotten
One
2
more.
out of 4 correct.
Look,
Need this one.
number 1, I'm getting 50-50 on that.
Don't is the 2015 breakout hit single by which R&B artist? Is it A, Bryson Tiller, B, Jordan Sparks, C, Chris Brown, or D, LMA?
And
Don't.
oh my gosh. Look, whoever my charity was, I'm apologizing to you. Because I don't think we're going to get this. I don't see the choices. Where is it?
A, Bryson Tiller,
I don't know who that is.
B, Jordan Sparks, C, Chris Brown, or D, LMA?
I'm going to choose what students do all the time and go with C.
See?
Chris Brown.
C is incorrect.
Oh, no.
The correct answer is A, Bryson Tiller.
I'm sorry, I don't know who Bryson Tiller is.
Short than
I
that, though?
try.
Oh.
So Bryson Tiller was the answer?
Bryson Tiller is the correct answer.
Oh, you got to keep Leonard Cross, so you got to go with your gut. Okay.
You said I don't know who that is. You should have went with that one. To
Yep.
get the one you don't know.
Oh, well, you know,
Definitely.
you learn something every day. So, thank you.
Okay. So you didn't win.
Sorry.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
I will donate my own $50.
You donate $20 to charity?
Yeah, I'm going to donate my own $50, so it's okay.
Most definitely.
Yes. Lloyd, I'll be calling you.
Okay. I want to thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Tell us, tell people, you know, I don't even know what to say because I don't know.
Yeah, well, congratulations on winning and being, what is it, this month's $1 million
Yeah, $1 Million
teacher.
Teacher Project winner.
Yeah.
Give
It's
it
in
up
the
for them.
past.
Oh, it was in the past?
No,
Okay.
Oh, we celebrating today. We're
Right.
celebrating today.
Right, so you are today's for
Yeah.
us. And we respect everything you do, and thank you for everything you do for the kids and everything.
Definitely. So please, everybody, you know, $1 Million Teacher winner right here, $1 Million Teacher Project. They help the teachers get the resources they need. I think they donate like 500
Yeah, man. Computers,
So
yeah.
please support $1 Million Teacher Project.
Please.
They're helping your kids, the students, to learn. So, Miss Monica, thank you for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's take a moment. We're going to shout out our sponsors.
Yep.
And
And we'll come in with our next guest.
definitely.
Yes, sir. All right. Let's shout out our sponsors real quick.
First, we got waywardkid.com, Wayward Kid Foundation for all your entertainment, news, sports, and lifestyle trends, for all your editing and program needs. And we also have Kiwi Juice Bar for all natural smoothies, fresh pressed juice, and natural education. And also offering a weekly meal prep.
We also have I Shine, You Shine, We Shine, We Shine Detailing. Make your car shine like new. We also have Butcher's Wings and Things.
Yum, yum,
Come
yum.
get these wings and things.
Yeah, they got them good plates over there.
And we have Novels by Z. The game isn't only for boys. Experience the game told from the other side. Visit www.novelsbyz.com for your own signed copy of the book. And a great book that everyone has been loving so far.
Definitely, it's a great book. Show that off right here. There you go. It's a great book. Also, we have KT Gibson.
Low Main.
Oh, man,
Check
yes.
out our skit we did for him.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, his music is popping right now.
Definitely.
It's heating up, like, it's getting played on the radio and everything.
Oh,
So
yeah?
He got a lot of hits right now.
Yeah, man. His future projects coming soon. So let's, go ahead.
And then we also have Trinity Promotions for all your promoting and graphic needs.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And don't forget the $1 Million Teacher Project. You just interviewed
Monica.
Miss Monica.
Definitely.
Miss Monica.
She's
Miss
still
Monica.
building. She wants to see what's going on.
Yeah, Miss Monica is a $1 Million Teacher Project
Mhm.
winner.
Definitely.
We celebrate teachers that teaching the students. These are important things in the community. Teachers need our help.
Definitely.
They don't get the resources
They do
need
not.
to, they don't get it from the
Right.
when where they're supposed to get it.
Right. So we
let's
want
help the teachers out.
Definitely. We do everything we can to help the $1 Million Teacher Project.
Definitely.
And thank you, Miss Monica, for coming on and sharing your view.
Most definitely. And don't forget Miss Joanne Muhammad, her new book.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yes, the Bible
It's
Talk
out
is
now. Beautiful
Yes.
book.
It's a nice cover right there.
Definitely nice cover.
These are our sponsors. These sponsors help us keep the lights on in our building.
Definitely
So
do.
we thank you. But we have a special guest in the building.
Very special guest.
Second guest.
Definitely.
Can I take the mask off?
Yes,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right,
Please,
all right,
sir.
all right.
This man is a legend in the city.
Definitely is.
And also running for mayor.
Running for mayor. Big things.
Yep, Mr. Joshua Carmona.
Crisco Kid.
Crisco, I don't know. I want to make sure I pronounce your last name right. I'm bad at it.
Yeah, Carmona.
Carmona.
man.
Oh,
You know what
okay,
I'm
there you go.
saying? Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Yes,
How
sir.
are you bad at it, man?
Because he bad with pronunciations.
How? He has
I
a
just-
Spanish wife. I mean,
And he still
just-
can't pronounce her name
I
halfway
just-
correctly.
man.
We just had a conversation. I was in special ed because my speech now.
You used to call Tim Shane.
Oh, but
Oh,
check this out.
Oh, we don't even talk about that.
Let me tell you something though. She's Miss Monica that we just interviewed,
Mm-hmm.
school teacher, great teacher.
Definitely.
Teacher's terrible. I get yelled at. You ain't saying it right. So, mayor candidate, which one is it right here?
I'm like, which camera angle? Because I was watching before I came in.
Oh yeah, we switch camera angles.
How
all
many,
the
how,
time.
how many camera angles we running?
We got 1, 2, 3, 4 camera angles, sir. So, Mary, you want to hold that to that camera right there?
I sure can.
I'll put that on there. This one right here.
So, how has it been so far? What has been your
Man. Well, first of all, thanks for the opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Thank you, sir.
Like anytime I'm given a chance to speak about what we're doing and why I'm running, and I jump on that opportunity
Definitely.
because
Yes, sir.
you know that's the whole reason why I'm running is because you know if you listen to Power 98.3, the Crisco Kid Block Party,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
since COVID-19 hit, you know we were deemed essential, so we were working every day. There was no days off, and had conversations with just a lot of different people on how we're supposed to navigate through
Yes,
this.
sir.
right?
One of the people that we couldn't get in contact with was Mayor Kate Gallego.
Wow.
Yes.
Which, as the mayor, you know, you should be a leader. You should show some
Definitely.
leadership. You should be taking as many calls or opportunities that you can
Right.
to speak to the people in the city.
Yes, sir.
Then the death of George Floyd,
Yes.
locally Deion Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I reached out to different agencies to see who was going to come on the show and talk to our community.
Right.
As being the hip hop station in the city, it was important at that time that we hear from our elected officials, the
Definitely.
Yes,
people
sir.
in charge,
Mm-hmm.
so we have some direction on how we should be moving forward.
Right. Definitely.
What's being done about certain things.
Right.
The only person that accepted that invite to come on the show was Sheriff Penzone.
Wow.
Now, for those that are familiar with the sheriff's office in Arizona. So before I moved here, I mean, I even knew about SB 370. I knew about Charles Barkley being in Tennessee. I knew about the pink
underwear.
and all that stuff. And so when Sheriff Penzone's office reached back out and accepted the invite, I knew we were in for something different.
Right.
I knew it was going to be different because for there not to have been a sheriff on power for almost 2 decades,
right.
That meant that something was about
something was changing. Definitely.
Was about to change. Yeah. And I appreciated that. We talked about multiple different things. You know, the countywide also banned carotid chokeholds. That got no media attention. It was all about what was happening in the city. Right. And city things are important. That's another reason I'm running for mayor. But we have to look at the county things as well. And some people are like, well, why did you want to talk to Paul Penzone? He's the sheriff. It has nothing to do with the city level. But you're wrong because the city is inside down.
Definitely. Yeah.
So you have to understand we all have to work together.
Definitely.
And still at that point, I had no intention on running for mayor, right? But I understood the importance of creating that dialogue for us and as a leader in the hip-hop community. Right. Not just here, but across the country. Right. That's what we need to move forward.
Definitely. Right.
So, again, Oh Jesus, who did nights, you know, Zoom interviews. We've been doing a lot of those with different people. And we still could not get the mayor's office on the phone. They agreed to do an interview on one date, and 5 p.m. they chose the time. We agreed. I'm promoting it. Oh, Jesus promoting it. Station's promoting it. And they canceled like 2 hours before.
Wow.
And saying that, you know, she had to go get her child.
Wow.
And was going to be unable to do it. So we offered some rescheduling. They never got back to it.
Wow.
I spoke about that in the New Times as well. There was an article. The editor or the columnist, Erasmus Baxter, he kind of direct messaged me and was like, hey, the mayor's office is saying this is not true. Hold on, because I got the receipts. So we sent in the emails. We did everything. And they still had the nerve to say that we're lying. But I have the whole email thing, we did. And so y'all picked the date and time you agreed to it. And I told them that it was insulting to single moms because my mom, she raised us. There's 2 of us. My mom had 2 or 3 jobs and still made time to do what you're going to do. Right. If things are important, you want to address certain people, you want to address communities, you want to talk to people, you're going to make that time. You're going to at least respond with another date.
Definitely.
We didn't receive that.
Wow.
And so it was at that moment that I decided I was going to run for mayor.
Wow.
And so we were at a challenge because I'm like, man, there's only, you know, so many days left
to
qualify for the ballot.
Right.
We tried 2 different times. I was told by the city clerk's office to change my address. I couldn't use my address.
Wow.
Okay.
So, all right. So the last time we did it, I was able to get 700 signatures in 6 days.
Wow.
So mind you, it took 15. You need 1,500 signatures. It took some of the other candidates 2 to 3 months to get that.
Right.
I got half that in 6 days.
Wow.
Can I give you a round of applause for that?
Yeah, man.
Thank you. So that's a testament to the hustle, and that's a testament to like the people that really believe that.
It's tough.
Something's got to, you know, it's got to switch up, man. It's got to change. And so I had a choice. I could either proceed forward, turn in the signatures, and fail, right? Be disqualified for ballot, or I could not turn in the signatures, and I could still run as a write-in candidate.
Right.
That's what I chose to do because we have a message, we got points to get across.
Right.
I need to hold people accountable, and the only reason or the only way to hold people accountable for how they want to move forward is to put the pressure on them and make them say stuff publicly, so that way they can hold a stance that we know where they're going to stand for the next 4 years.
Okay.
Right.
So either way, they've had to address anything I'm doing, at least the Bible candidates.
Right.
And so we had our debate 2 weeks ago, October 20th.
Yep.
And so shout out to Tim C.
Yeah, I watched
he
that.
came through, and him automatically, and I never met him before, and him being there puts him at a respect level that the other 2 candidates, in my mind, I don't care if we work together in the future or not, the other 2 candidates, I will never hold him at that respect of Tim C. now because he showed up to talk about the issues.
debate.
I agree with you there because I was like, why is it's only you 2 there? And I agree with you.
It's disrespectful.
And I keep going like this because Kate was supposed to be on my right. Marissa was over on this side. And that's why on the little parts that I'm putting out now until the election about, you know, my response to the questions. And you hear me say, Kate is not here. Marissa's not here. Marissa told the organizer that she doesn't feel it's worth her time to stop bothering her about it if Kate's not going to be there. Kate's office, like she does, no comment, not available.
Right.
And that's what we've seen from her administration.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to
true.
defunding the police, funding the police, even since the death of Deion Johnson and George Floyd, for protecting the quote-unquote mob that Marissa Hamilton and Jerry Sheridan will have you believe there's a mob. There's no mob here. What is she talking about?
Right.
There's no mob.
No.
You know, so
people who want
like,
answers, man.
You got people playing on emotions and trying to pit other people. But it's just so frustrating to see that the other candidates not put the attention on the communities and not want to have
they're not involved.
They're not involved.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just taking this opportunity, and we're going to keep pushing forward to the very end,
Mm-hmm.
put the pressure, and have people at least be held accountable for what they say they want to do. The problem is, like I was saying, that there has been $13 million in police overtime.
Wow.
And there's, the call for defunding police when it's actually $13 million pro funding.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying, not to support police. I'm bringing this up specifically to show the point that there's been more funding.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes to the mayor to get comment,
Right.
to get her reaction, what are her thoughts? Like we always see, the mayor is not available
She's not
for
available.
comment.
Right.
If you look at news clips and compilations, the mayor's not available. We couldn't reach the mayor's
Mm-hmm.
office. Even with the story this week where there's supposedly a credible threat.
Right.
I don't believe anything that comes out of this mayor's office because they lied on me.
Mm.
Not once, but twice was in the same article.
Wow.
So I don't believe anything that comes out of that communication director.
Right.
And the officer that is accused of doing the
Mm-hmm.
credible threat, he said he didn't say any of that either.
Yeah, man, I can't.
And so I believe the officer over that officer's word.
Wow.
Notice how the story died. Notice how the
Yeah,
story
yeah.
died.
Yeah.
The officer got sent on home leave or
Yeah,
whatever.
he was
But
on
what happened to the
suspension.
rest of the story?
Right.
And again,
Credibility,
even in the
right?
press release, the answer was Mayor Kate Gallego's office is not available for comment. They don't have any further details.
Wow.
She never has further details.
Right.
She never has a comment. Why is this woman mayor and she's been in city council? I don't understand why communities back her so much when she's never available for comment
Right.
and not in the communities. I don't understand that.
It doesn't seem like she has much to say about anything that
Anything.
happens with
Anything.
with the minority community in Phoenix.
She really
I mean-
doesn't. Like, I think maybe she's put out one statement, if that, maybe.
She does not talk.
No, we're not hearing on
That's
her.
why she won't debate.
And she
that.
ran majority on talking with the community, being involved with the community. All of her ads and stuff that was on the TV was
I ain't-
You know what's
community,
crazy?
I ain't
being
seen
with
it.
family.
You know what's
I ain't
crazy?
seen that.
Check this out. And you're right. Peep this. She's raised over $3 million during this campaign. And this is quarter financials that came out. I think Marissa Hamilton is about 300,000 or 600,000 in the campaign. Tim C about 300,000.
Wow.
I'm under $10,000 and got everybody shook.
Right.
Under $10,000 in my campaign, and everything has been from people donating $10, $5,
Grassroots.
$20.
Yeah.
I've never asked anybody. I've kind of put stuff on social media like, hey, if it's within your budget and your family can afford it, and it's not going to break anything,
Right.
please donate because everything helps.
Right.
Right.
But it just shows how you can be effective. Don't let the money fool you because then you
Yeah.
think, where's Kate Gallego's commercials?
Right.
$3 million? Who's getting the money?
Yeah, she's not doing any of that at this time.
I'm getting national attention. Been in different papers, been in different articles. Under $10,000.
Yeah, I really
What
haven't-
is she doing with
Right.
that money?
Yeah, I
think
haven't
she-
seen anything of you asking for that for donations like
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she thinks she has it in the bag.
It's arrogant
Yeah.
to think that I get it. She's put the work in the city. She's lived here longer than me, but that's a career politician.
Right.
Same thing with Marissa Hamilton. It's a career politician to where I call her Pick Me Marissa because she in 2018 or 16 she ran for senator. 2018 ran for governor. She was running as a libertarian at the time.
Wow.
And now she's running as Republican because she saw an opportunity to get more money from a party
Right.
against Kate Gallego.
Right.
So I say pick me because she wants to be something so bad. To be a mayor, you got to want to be the mayor. You got to be really intact
Right.
with the community. And people are like, well, you don't have any experience. Man, I have 21 years of life experience being in
Definitely.
radio across the Southwest. I know how. I'm from Houston, already the third or fourth largest city in America, depends on what year it is. I lived in LA for 5 years. I did radio in Dallas. I've lived
Wow.
in Albuquerque. So I've done the whole Southwest.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm very in tune with people from a whole region of this country.
Right.
I have 21 years of that. Plus, you put me on paper, I got 2 degrees too. Ken.
Wow. Yeah.
What are we doing? You know what I mean? University of Houston. Shout out to the Cubs. You know what I mean? But it's like, put me on paper, but you don't have life experience, and you can't. You haven't been approachable or approaching different people in certain communities.
Right.
I like to say this. What we're seeing right now between Marissa and Kate is Taco Tuesday. Everybody loves Taco Tuesday, right? Everybody loves Taco Tuesday. See, I mean, like, look, I love tacos so much.
That deserves a horn.
That's all right.
I got taco socks on. But the
He
reason
said I got taco
I got
socks.
taco socks on.
Legit, man. Because I want people to understand this. They want the Taco Tuesday. They want the margaritas. They want the tacos. But guess
Right.
what? They don't want the people in the back
No.
to come eat the Taco Tuesday.
Right.
Right.
They don't want them to come into the restaurant. That's exactly what we're seeing right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's not just Kate and it's not just Marissa. There's other, like Nicole Garcia. You have other examples of people that's running for office around town that are using a last name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're using the last name, and they want Taco Tuesday, but they don't want the people who work there, who make the tacos and the culture, to be a part of it.
Yeah,
that's facts.
No, that's real.
You're telling facts right there.
And we haven't heard from her, so you know, to
enough
me,
about them though, man. We got some great things that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here to answer y'all questions, and again, thank y'all so much.
I do want to say this. Help me too, if I don't say it wrong. Yep. I know there's been a lot of spotlight on the black community. You know, with the police, with videos that's been showing, all that. Let's talk about what's going on. What are the needs and the help that's needed in the brown community?
Right.
So
I think it's both, man. Black and brown.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
One can't get done without the other in this
Right.
city.
Right.
That's real.
Give round applause for that, sir.
Yeah, 42% Hispanic here. 40-something white. Less than 6% black.
Right.
You have to work together.
Definitely.
Yep.
And so when you look at the opportunity to bridge more gaps now than ever, to work together, unite to do some things. You know, I was, it doesn't come out till tomorrow, but it's a podcast or an interview I have with Bair Thurston.
Okay.
How to Citizen, right? So he's worked with he didn't work under the Obama administration. We talked about that yesterday, but worked with as an advisor to the Obama administration.
Wow. Okay.
He's got one of the most successful podcasts in the world. He's got a big series. Pretty good guy. Look him up. He's on my show tomorrow on Sirius XM.
Okay.
And so we talk about that, how we're going to work together. So I don't want to give too much today because I want people to check that out. People's Globalization
Make sure y'all check that out tomorrow.
Yeah, and the video drops as well tomorrow. But I've also had conversations with like Regina Hall. I've also had conversations with like Dorian Missick, Wayne Brady, just a lot of different people. Mayor Tubbs from Stockton.
Wow.
He's the youngest mayor in the country, first black mayor of Stockton, California. HBO, Stockton on my mind.
Yeah.
I text him, we talk.
That's cool.
And so because I'm working on how to do things on day one, what can we implement to see what's working? Because, again, we don't have to overthink things. The research and some of the science and different programs are already being implemented. We just have to look at, is it working?
Right.
And so when you look at like UBI, Universal Basic Income, like it's a program that's not just for black and brown communities, but it's for white communities as well as for Asian communities, Native communities, everybody.
Everyone. Okay. Yeah.
But people tend to associate it with just black and brown.
Yeah.
And so just take that, though, for example, because it is helping a lot of minority communities in certain cities that it is being implemented. Now, is that going to be the best thing for Arizona? I don't know. But we can look at some of those things that that is, you know, black and brown communities are starting to implement, and we can see how that's moving forward.
Definitely.
Right.
As far as communities, as far as policing, again, I'm from Houston, Texas. So, and people are like, why do you bring up Houston so much? Because that's home. But at the same time, they're doing some great things that, again, why do we have to try to outfigure everyone or outsmart anyone? And that's your ego.
Right.
Don't stop being egotistical and look at what other people are
we don't
already
have to
doing.
reinvent the wheel.
We can work together and say, hey, Mayor Sylvester Turner, which, again, it's nothing but phone calls, man. I mean, Trey, the truth is my brother. Like, my brother. And, like, it's just quick phone calls that we can organize all this stuff.
Right. What are you doing there that can help us here to make us
Exactly. And that's ego when people don't want to put the ego aside and find those solutions. Right. So when you look at community-based policing models, and somebody during the debate was like, well, he's not saying this isn't anything innovative.
That's very innovative,
but are
definitely.
you even talking about it anymore, though? And so we have to look at, and we have to get back into people policing communities that they're from, or they at least spend time in those communities so they know how to police those people, these communities, these sexual orientations. If you're in this neighborhood, if you're over here, you got to be empathetic. But at the same time, you know, you're the police. So we have to understand that you're here to protect and serve us. We want to be able to call on our police, not be afraid when they're coming down the street. That's the problem. You're here to protect and serve, not hunt and kill.
Definitely. How do you feel about homelessness in Phoenix? I mean, it's skyrocketing. We have a lot of homeless problems here in the Phoenix area. We have encampments that's being built in the downtown areas. What kind of plans do you have to try to fix this problem that the city is seeing?
Right. So already what's in motion, and this week actually on Wednesday or Thursday, it had been brought up in the city council again. And so are you aware of kind of what's happening with South CCO and Nowakowski?
No. That's okay.
Okay. So they're taking one of the hospitals that is no longer being used, right?
Okay.
And so they're thinking about purchasing it.
Okay.
It's a pretty big purchase.
Okay.
Millions of dollar purchase. And so what they would like to do is not only make it for unsheltered population, but also provide mental health services as well, behavioral services, a lot of things that can help the city out. So instead of being in Tent City and kind of an area, you know what I mean, around town over off Lincoln and Van Buren area, right? They want to be able to move the people and actually put inside this hospital and keep the use of the hospital going, so it's not just land city.
Right.
I'm not opposed to that.
Definitely.
I think when you offer a solution that it looks better for the city.
Definitely.
Right? So that way other people that are trying to grow the city, you know, downtown, grow Phoenix and grow that area, you know, now you can remove the tents and now you have a way to, I don't want to say keep track, but you can definitely offer services people can sign in and we know like what's happening, right? And so that way they can get shots, they can get, you know, resources that are going to help people get back on their feet.
Definitely.
See, me, I would prefer to give like helping hands up, not just hand out.
Definitely.
Because this is part of the fiscal conservative in me, is because I believe in strengthening people.
Okay.
Because if you strengthen people and you give them opportunities, then they become less dependent on the government, which makes our taxes go down because we don't have to fully fund or give so much money, which is not, it's not a problem funding the community for resources, but our taxes can actually go lower because everyone becomes contributing more. They got jobs, they can feed their families, they can do different things to like provide for themselves.
Right.
And so like when I had my restaurant, Famous Churros, we right there in Sunny Slope, man. I had a whole encampment in the back of my restaurant. And so I was like, man, I can look at this in two ways. These people can like watch over our block, which is, I talk to the other business owners, that's kind of what they do. Or you can be like, get off my property, or yo, we calling the police. You know, we signed our ATA, like every business signs your ATA, to where if something happens, you know, they can come on property. But the thing though that was important to us was to be able to like, do you guys need any extra work? Okay, we can pay this much money if you can make sure the parking lot's good. If you do this and this and that, because again, it's encouraging people to hopefully do the right thing, generate some money, so that way they can strengthen themselves.
Okay.
So I believe me as mayor, and whether I win or not, I'm still going to champion this because that's what I believe. Is really encouraging people, mentorship programs. Shout out to Anthony Freeman. He's got the Who I Am Foundation.
Okay.
And so like I'll volunteer with them. And one thing that I like, and we talked about doing, is having mentorship programs. Not everyone homeless didn't graduate high school.
Right.
Not everyone homeless didn't have a family or doesn't have a family. You're looking at people that became dependent maybe on a substance. You're looking at people that had, you know, a breakdown possibly. You're looking at someone that could have been a CEO of a company, went to college. I know. I remember, I never forget this. When I was growing up, I met a guy on a corner who was a valedictorian.
Wow.
He went to college after that, but he said it was just too much. He dropped out. His family like abandoned him, cut him off, right? But you're thinking a valedictorian is supposed to go on and be so successful, but he ended up holding a sign on the corner.
Right. A great example is the basketball player. I forgot his name.
Delonte West.
Yeah, Delonte West. He's on the corner.
Right.
You know?
Mark Cuban, you know, helped him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have him in a mental.
Yeah, right now they're helping him out. Yeah.
So encouraging businesses in the community to where some of these people have skills. They might be the best realtor. They might be the best accountant.
Right.
They might, and they don't have to come in off top and you're trusting your whole company with them, but definitely put them in a mentorship program or some type of, hey, minimum wage here we're going to do, and we're going to get you back on your feet.
Or some
and
type
after
program.
a month of training, here's your first client.
Right. Some type program with training to get them to some type of jobs or something.
There's great people that are unsheltered right now. And especially during COVID, it could rise if people don't get the necessary funds that they need right now, the resources. And so, again, there's business owners. There's so many good people that happen to just be unsheltered and fell on a hard time. Let's give them that hands up. You know what I'm saying? Let's help them up and get back on their feet.
Another thing I want to ask about is the rent cost and the skyrocketing rent costs in Phoenix area. There's no lower income housing in Phoenix. Most people, most people can't afford a 1-bedroom apartment in the Phoenix area. What can you do to get some low income housing? Or to maybe to lower some of the costs in some of the other areas.
Right. See, this comes the business part of everything, right? Because there has to be the balance between encouraging growth, encouraging, I don't want to say flippers, but real estate development, right? So I do real estate as well.
Definitely.
And so I know you, I forgot, what was your name again?
Monica.
Miss Monica.
Miss Monica, there we go. Because I was listening, I know you did real estate as well.
Definitely.
See? And so my parents come from education, both educators that retired. And so I I do real estate still, and so I've seen my clients. I don't do a lot of rentals because it's kind of like it's a headache.
Yeah, it's tough.
So, but if they're my friends, I have no problem.
Right.
But one thing I have noticed since I got my license in 2017 is that rent really has gone up.
Skyrocket.
My last client, I helped them get a year lease in 2018, and they were like, "Hey, I need a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, or 2 bath, depending on the price." I was able to find them something nice area, everything. About I think it was $1,050, right? We tried to renew the lease. They wanted $1,300 for the same spot. Yeah. I was like, well, let me try to find you something else. So I went and tried to look for something else around the area. Nothing renovated. Nothing. And the minimum was like $1,200. Like, it's just above my budget. Even $1,050 was above the budget, but we made it work. We sacrificed. And so she ended up working out. They found a nice little spot. Wasn't what they wanted. It was like a 1-bedroom bath and kind of like a loft situation, but still was $1,200.
Wow.
And so you know what I mean. So I understand that. We have to have more affordable housing programs, or we're going to have to actually put a rent. Like in California, they do this. You can only raise the rent by so much %. Right. But I think we have to look at ways to either enforce that, like to really make sure, like, yo, man, you can't outprice the neighborhood. Yeah. Because that's another reason why people are becoming unsheltered. They can't simply afford to live. Right. Let's take other, like, I call this predatory because you see, like, we buy cash houses. We'll pay any condition, ugly house, right? So it looks good for somebody that might need temporary money right now. But what happens is they're thinking that they're going to take that money and they're going to retire, or they're going to live somewhere that they can afford the rent. Right. Problem is, the neighborhood is out. They can't live there anymore. Right. So now you have this money, and now you're in a situation where A, you don't have the money to buy another house right now, and B, the rent is too high for what you budgeted. You were better off keeping your house than selling it. And we have a lot of people preying on older people because they think they're retired or they've been in the neighborhood so long and they see the nicer houses come up. They're like, I'll go ahead and buy you out for here's $200,000 cash, here's $300,000 cash, whatever it may be. So we have to make sure that the city is protecting those people so that way they don't fall for that, because there's a lot of trick slick people out there, you know what I'm saying? And we have to protect those people, but we also have to offer more resources, and the city has to set aside funds. Right. The funds exist.
They're there.
The money's just not allocated where it needs to go. Okay? So we have to take some of these funds that currently exist and put those in programs, just set it aside for people that can qualify for more affordable housing.
Right.
I know we interviewed Mrs. Monica, grade school teacher. How can we make sure the schools are getting funded the correct way and make sure the teachers have their resources instead of, we got the $1 Million Teacher Project that has to get, that's a resource for the teachers. But how come the city doesn't make sure the teachers don't get their resources?
I think we're 48th in the nation.
Bad, man. It's 48th, 49th, and 50th quality of education. It just depends on what statistic you're looking at. And there's some great school districts around the state. But I think what's important to note is that a lot of the state or school stuff does come from the state level and the school boards. Right. That's why when filling out the your ballot, most people don't even fill those out. They just skip them. Yeah. So like when you see Glendale Union down the street. So that's my district. So it's saying yes for bonds, no for bond, whatever you're going to vote on, right? You have to pay attention to that, because that can help you get the funds, or at least have the availability to get more money for your district. Right. Okay. Now, at the city level, what I want to do is, I talked about this at the debate, and I think is ensuring that people have the access. Right. Right. We have to do everything that we can to provide access. So I talked about free Wi-Fi. Why in Rio Rancho, when I did radio in Albuquerque, Rio Rancho is a suburb on the outside. 2006, they partnered with the tech company. They had free Wi-Fi for the whole city.
I think Nashville has it also.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Why can't we do the same thing in communities that are underserved, that we know education needs to be a priority? Right. What is the problem with that? Again, the money exists. Where are you funding
Cox
it to?
is going to fight against that.
Right.
Yeah. Cox is going to fight. Is it the point they don't care, or what's stopping
them? No, you have companies are lacing the pockets of people that they need to lace, and they're lobbying to who they need to.
Every year, the price of your internet bill goes up.
That's what I'm saying.
You're paying, if you're on Snap, you might get internet for $10 a month with Cox, but if you're not on Snap, then you're paying $50, $60, $70, $100.
Yeah. They have a monopoly
just for basic internet.
I mean, it's like I've seen some kids like at a McDonald's.
Yeah, doing their homework. Right,
like,
because they can't afford internet.
They got kids walking up to their schools every day just to use the school Wi-Fi.
And
speaking that you said about that, there were kids and parents actually fined and given citations and threatened because they were on school properties, trying to use Wi-Fi during the virtual learning. That's not right.
Right.
Yeah, what do you want?
That's not right. I believe it. I don't want to say Cactus Shadows or somewhere. One of the northern Phoenix districts, and I was like, I can't believe that. Where kids want to learn, they don't have the resources to get the Wi-Fi, and they're trying to, and police are telling them to leave the property, and that's the only way to get Wi-Fi. Right. That's not right.
No, that's
so
not right.
My thing is to provide equal access for more communities. That way, people can at least have the access in the playing field to even walk on the field.
Definitely.
You feel me? There's some kids that can't even get on the field.
Right.
We say equal playing field, they're not even there.
Definitely.
They're outside the gate just trying to get on the field. We got to make sure that there's an equal opportunity, right? I also want to champion after school programs again. What happened to band?
Right.
I was in band, football.
Yeah.
I mean, so many clubs.
Right.
I mean, I was everything. You know what I mean?
Was in band,
What happened to that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I did
Can't afford it.
ROTC.
Right.
So a lot of these programs, they're not being funded anymore. In my
They're
conversation with
eliminated,
Jordan
man.
Sparks, people are, she lives in LA. I don't care. Her family's from here. She's from
Definitely,
here.
she knows
She's
what's
from
going
here,
on,
She's
right.
a product of Arizona. She's
Yes,
a product
she
of
is.
Phoenix.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
When people tell me that stuff when they moved out of town, I don't buy all that, man. Because if somebody has a good heart and their family's still here,
But every
their
time she comes
voice
back to
matters.
town, she's always doing something. She's always got some type of event going on. Every single time she comes back to town, and it's always either a homeless program or a charity program, or it's something that Jordan does every time she comes here.
No, she's good. Yes, definitely.
Jordan's good people. I bring her up because in our conversation, I was like, hey, what would you like to see more for families? Because my thing is families first, safer street, smarter city.
Right.
Nobody's talking about families first. What other candidates talking about families first? Nobody, because
No
people
one.
want to destroy the family unit. That's
Yeah.
not right. I'll get to that in a minute if we have time. But look, so families first. What can we do to strengthen families? She's like, well, why don't we have more programs to where if there's single parents that at least once a week maybe, or there's a day that food prep is already done, so that way the moms and dads can focus on helping the kids with homework. Why don't we? My mom brought this up. Shout out to my moms. Because, again, my family retired from education.
Right.
So she said, well, boo, that's what she called me. You know, what we need to do is offer programs after school to teach the parents how to teach the kids.
Right.
Because what's happening now, see, they switch up the math, they switch up the English every couple years to where now our generation is like, what the hell is going on?
This ain't core math.
Yeah, the math with squares.
Yeah, I was like, what is that?
Basic core, whatever it's called now.
Right.
Look, I'm like, my son is going to learn how to do it.
Right.
We believe in do it right, do it light, do it wrong, do it long.
Use your hands.
You know what I mean?
saying?
And it's just crazy to me because I understand that they want to show the work, but we always had to show the work too.
Right.
Nothing changed. We showed the work too. But she's like, we have to show programs to where people can help their kids, because if the parents are one or two generations so removed on what we were being taught, how can you expect the parents to help at home?
They can't.
So we have to have more programs like that as well.
Definitely.
So some of the stuff is state level, but as a city level, encourage more education, not just for the kids, but for the parents as well, so everyone can get the help that they need.
I heard you talking about safer streets. Phoenix violence has been on the uptick.
Yeah, 44%.
Yeah. So what can we do as a city to try to change the violent uptick that the city's been going through? Or do you think it's just a normal reaction from what's been going on with the disease and all the things that's happening at the same time?
I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay.
It's because I've had, more conversations than any other candidate. I talked to Father Greg Boyle of Homeboy Industries. I don't know if you're familiar with Homeboy Industries. California, they just won. Father Greg just won the 2020 Hilton Foundation Humanitarian of the Year Award. And Homeboy Industries is one of the biggest companies, $1 million company. They give people, we talk about second chances, like, Josh, some people don't even have a first chance. How did they get a chance? They never got it.
That's real.
They're gang members, they're ex-prisoners, ex-felons, and they have a whole huge industry. Tortillas, tortilla chips, salsas, like Homeboy Industries is big.
That's
California
huge.
is
Yeah.
And so we talked about, I was like, we talk about diversity. We talk about, now people want to say inclusion. He goes, but at Homeboy, we believe it's more than that. It's belonging. It's kinship.
Right.
And what's missing right now is the real belonging, humanity, right? We want to belong to something so bad right now that it doesn't matter what you're belonging to, even more than ever because of since COVID.
Definitely.
And kinship is understanding that we really are one.
Yeah.
And that's why even before the conversation, this just happened last week, strengthen community, right? When I was talking to Penzone, Sheriff Penzone, we were talking about the Office of Accountability and Transparency and how it's beginning to be fully funded. I said, Sheriff, I want to go a step further because there has to be consistency. It's the CAT model. Yep. Consistency, accountability, and transparency. And I go, we need to hold our law enforcement officials to that as well because there is inconsistencies in the way that we're policing in different neighborhoods. But we got to hold each other to the CAT model as well.
Definitely.
We got to be more consistent with each other. We got to hold each other accountable. And instead of trying to get over on everybody, we got to be more transparent. I'm not saying put all your cards out. That's, business moves. I mean, I'm not saying all that.
Right.
You got to move in silence. We hear those things as well. But I mean, being transparent as far as not to F anybody over.
Right.
It's part of my, you know what I'm saying? But that's what it is.
Definitely.
And so when you got a society that's always trying to get over on people and trying to find out how to hit that next lick instead of really trying to help build people, instead of using your words to be so negative. That's why I don't want to spend too much talking about the other opponents because I would rather use my words to encourage.
Definitely.
Right.
I'd rather use my words and my energy to empower. So we have to start getting to that instead of tearing everybody down.
Yeah.
The same social media post that we're looking at, we can look at two ways. We can share the negative stuff or just
That's true.
move.
That's true.
Right? So we got to start sharing more positive. We got to start building each other up. If you know you got a neighbor down the street, my neighbors, I just realized this, like running, I met so many people in my neighborhood now. And now, during COVID, do you need anything? Do you need something? Hey, how about you?
Right.
You good over there?
Yeah.
Because, and I live in East Sunny Slope, so our block watch is one of the strongest in the city. So we get help from the city because we're active. Right. So now we have the gated alley program in District 3 that's starting to spread out a little bit.
That needs to be needed. That should be across the whole city.
So it's a pilot program. It's a pilot program, right? And so, but because we know that the block watch is so involved in the community, that our community understands block watch mentality, not Karen mentality.
Right.
Block watch, because we know who everyone is, right? And so we have to, that's why I was talking about community policing earlier. We got to get back to the situation to where we know who's in the community. Like we just know each other. That's it.
We don't have the grandma looking out the window anymore like on 227, and always looking out the window watching everything, you know what I mean? Telling what's going on.
Grandma knew everything.
And she knew everything. You know what I mean? You couldn't do nothing in the hood without her yelling at you.
Get away from over there.
Right, what you doing over there? And she went and told your mama fast.
Quick.
I know your mama, boy.
Back in the day, you had your communities. It's like they respected the elders, and they're like, he said not to mess with the
right.
Even like gangs and stuff.
Right.
Nowadays, that's even gone.
Yeah, man. Yeah, those things have been disconnected and lost. So that's definitely important. How do you feel about? I thought when you were saying community policing, I thought you meant more like the community the police doing more community walking. Both. And okay, so because I think that's a great idea. I think that the police are disconnected from the community, just riding around in cars. Yeah, there's probably a hurtful situation, them having a shortage of police officers. But it's not a well sought out job right now, with the way they're being viewed right now. So what can you do to try to keep the esteem high of the police, and also try to keep that balance between the people who are angry at the police shootings, because we see a lot in Phoenix. Right. So how can you keep that balance between the police and the community?
I think it comes with that transparency again. I think it comes with rebuilding the relationship, rebuilding that trust.
Right.
I've had lunches with different sergeants with Phoenix PD, and they'll put me through like some scenarios. They're like, Crisco, it's not all just about we're just trying to kill. Like that's not our motive.
Right.
The thing, they'll explain like the mass center.
Mass center.
Where,
right. That's where they aim.
Where it's just it's just
that's
the
how
biggest
they're trained.
body part, right? That's how they're trained.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll put me in some situations where I failed. I thought I would have been. He's like, no, because now you've done this. It's against the law. And now you've done. I'm like, dang. And so there's a lot into the decision and process making.
Yes, it is.
And I think if more people understood, I think people sometimes that serve in the military, and I'm not giving any of the bad cops or anything that has happened, anybody's been killed as unarmed, not giving that a pass at all. They got to go.
Right.
And the officer agency has to be held accountable at the same time.
Right.
Because if we, let's just say this is a company, right? You kept messing up on the job, I kept messing up on the job.
Right.
We'd be fired.
Right.
We'd be fired. The difference is they can take somebody's life.
Right.
Yeah.
And not get fired.
And not get fired.
Right.
Let's say we went through 4 years of college to get this job in this company inside these four walls right now. And we don't have the availability to take anyone's life. That opportunity doesn't present itself. We're not protecting and serving.
Right.
But we took 4 years to get the degree just to be in this building. Some of the officers, they don't even have a year training.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Year and a half of academy, depending on where you're going.
Right.
And they have the ability to take someone's life. I'm not discrediting their job because I know it's stressful, right?
Definitely.
But we all have stressful jobs. We're all going through extra stress, especially right now.
Yeah.
But we have to rebuild that trust. We have to know that there is a certain amount of respect, because it doesn't matter your community. That's why I say safer streets, because everybody wants safer streets.
Definitely.
I don't care who I talk to.
No, we all
I don't
do.
care what
Definitely.
neighborhood. You want to know that when you call the police, you're not waiting 10 minutes, 20 minutes for a response.
They're
going to
2
get as
hours.
soon as they can,
yeah.
right? We all want that.
Definitely.
I had a situation about 6 months ago. Some guy tried to mess with my mom's out in the parking lot.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And
Yeah.
then Tita told her to get in the house, call the police. Hour go by. Where they at?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't y'all? I
Right, and that could have
guy.
escalated to something else.
Yeah.
And the police was called an
it's
hour
like,
ago.
That's ridiculous. So an hour gone by. It should have been 10 minutes.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
I do have a question.
Do you feel like I answered that or not?
Yeah,
Because
yes, sir.
I can go
Definitely.
going, but I just feel that we have to repair that. And that's why I talk about holding each other accountable again. Consistency and transparency, because when we hold each other as a community like that, it's going to strengthen everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody's got to be held. The
Definitely.
police have to be held accountable. And until we start seeing some judgments and things, and police being held accountable, and the agency, has anybody... How many times does everything can be just a little better if somebody apologizes to you?
Right.
Oh yeah.
If somebody says, look, this was wrong,
Right.
but according to this is the reason why.
Right.
We haven't heard anybody explain anything like this. We know morally this may not be right. We know the community didn't agree with this, but here's why this happened.
Right.
Nobody ever breaks it down like that.
No.
It's just unempathetic. There's no compassion.
Right.
And here's our 60-minute or 2-minute officer briefing
Right.
report. Hello. This is the incident that occurred at 51st Avenue.
Right.
Right? Where's the empathy? That's
Right.
where our police chief, though, that's where the mayor should be talking and explaining, hey, our bad.
Right.
We messed up. Or you know what? We're going to back the officer here, but we would like to have prevented this. Nobody breaks it down like that.
What was your question, Bair?
I was just going to ask, how do you feel on expanding the length of time that Phoenix police officers have for training prior to being field
I don't know.
officers?
It's a state thing, though. Wouldn't it be?
No, I mean, I know. So I think so. Talking with, and I'll leave this particular officer anonymous, because it was around the same time that I was talking about with Dr. Phil about mental health training in police officers.
Right.
And so somebody was like, "Oh, so you wanna extend the officer's training? You want them to go to more training?"
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
"Man, let me ask you a question. No matter what job I'm doing, if somebody offered me more training to be better at it, why would I turn that down?
Right.
Why would it help me? Why would I say no to having more mental health training? Did you even know this, though? There is a number, a specific number. I have 2 people that help work on my campaign that are autistic. And I didn't know this until I started working with them during this campaign season.
Right.
There is a certain number that you're supposed to call, that the families of autistic people in the family, they don't call the police. You're not supposed to call the police.
Wow.
Oh.
I said, well, if I didn't know that, I'm in radio. I don't even know this.
Right.
Somebody in the communications field is dropping the ball.
Yeah.
Because how many more people may not understand what is happening with an individual that instead of calling 911 and now that person can be shot,
Right.
now that person can be killed because that information was not publicly available.
And thinking in the Philadelphia situation, they said that they called another hotline and wasn't supposed to. The police were not supposed to show up in that situation.
they
I don't
did.
know if that who they were supposed to call, but
They have a number
That
for
is
that.
crazy.
A number for that here as well.
wow.
I don't know if it needs to be, and this is, so talking about training, the officer let me know that, okay, it's supposed to be off the record, so I'm not going to go too much detail, but I'll just say that they're having a hard time filling the slots that exist right now. And so, and like some of the stuff that you said right now, the climate is not the same, right?
Right.
So the recruitment is down.
Mm-hmm.
And so the quality of training or the quality of officer that may have existed, whatever, the training may not be where it needs to be fully right now.
Right.
So I don't know if lengthening the amount of training may work, or is it bettering the quality of training that they're getting. And so that's where understanding
could it be a combination of both?
Yeah.
Maybe both.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not opposed.
Right.
But I think you have to work with kind of what is there, what's present, because we know they're getting more funding.
Right.
We know law enforcement is getting more funding, and it's going to increase next year as well. Yeah. It's amazing, though, that they're increasing so much funding, but they can't even fill the slots that exist.
Right. They're just getting more ammunition and more armor and more tanks and stuff is pretty much all they've been getting.
Better street cars, making sure their cars as fast as cars is on the road now.
And to me, those spending so much money on those things,
that's unnecessary stuff.
It's making us think that we're more and more right in a military state, and it's the disconnection of you see the police officer when we're having protests and you see them with all this gear on, like they're going to go to a war. Yeah. It doesn't make people feel safer around the police officer.
Well, consistency.
Right.
Because I went to protest downtown on both sides, or rallies. One is called a rally.
Mm-hmm. Right.
One's a protest.
Right.
One's a rally for one group of people.
Mm-hmm.
One's a protest.
Right.
Yes.
And so I've attended both.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm an independent candidate. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican.
I was wondering.
I don't have a party affiliation.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about campaign finance and all this another day. But I look at things and I take invites to, I don't care what party you belong to, because you have to understand what both sides are playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are they talking about?
Right.
And so if you go to a Pro 2A, which I am Pro 2A, I have multiple firearms. I think, it's your right to protect yourself, protect your family.
Definitely.
So I'm not here to, some people on the left want to take all your guns and hey, more restrictions. And, I believe in background checks. I believe that, you should be qualified to own a firearm.
You think this should
I have a certified carry. I'm certified carry and, whatever. But the point is, I'm Pro 2A. And so when I attended this, saw what's happening at the 2A rally. And I'm like, what the hell, the police? Everybody here's got loaded weapons, or at least a weapon.
Right.
Where the police?
Right.
Then I'm marching, we'll start downtown. And it was during Vanessa Guillen. During her marches and her vigils.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember walking from the YMCA, and we went to the Capitol, and there was another group there, again, another rally, Pro 2A, everybody had the guns. It was one officer.
Wow.
But there were all these officers walking from here. We stopped in front of the police station. They had the barricades, everything, kept walking. And all the police fanned around We Rising and everybody here, right? And I'm like, but only 2 or 3 have visible firearms in their pistols.
Right.
These people are walking around with open
arms, right?
Rifles,
right?
Yeah. AKs and
it's just like MP7s,
right?
MP5s or whatever, And I'm like, but why? And that's that consistency that I'm talking about.
It's not fair.
It's not consistent in the way people are treated. $13 million in extra overtime, and some rallies and some protests, there was not more than 50 people,
right?
30 people, 20 people, depending on the date. But yet they had the facial recognition. They got the drones out there.
Right.
The city of Phoenix police, we don't own any drones. That don't mean you don't lease them or rent them.
Right.
I mean, you don't barter them. Yeah. That was the stupidest crap. I'm sorry. See, I'm not a politician.
Right.
I'm just running to be an elected official to serve the people here.
Right.
So people are like, oh, you don't talk. I'm not going to. It's just like I can't be politically correct all the time.
Right.
So it just comes down to more consistency, and that's where that comes with that. As far as the training, we do need better training.
Yeah.
That entails, because sometimes you do things longer, doesn't mean it's better all the time.
True.
And that's why I say, my dad taught me as a football coach too. He just said, do it right, do it light, do it wrong, do it long.
Right.
We've been doing it wrong.
Yeah.
The city's been doing it wrong, because why in 2018 they barely bring up mandating body cams?
Right.
2018?
Right.
2019?
And they've been out for...
Right.
And they still turn them off when they feel like it.
Yeah, exactly. How long have body cams been around?
Yeah, I think Obama's 2016, 15, something like that.
Civilian review boards? Like any city, any major city in the United States has had this technology.
Right.
Has been doing these things. And this is what I said in the debate, and I say it again. If Deion Johnson locally, Ryan Whitaker, Jay Garcia, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, if these cases were not being brought up, it's scary to think that the city of Phoenix would still not even be having these conversations about communities of color and policing,
right,
and putting policies in place, or actually starting to enforce them.
Right.
If those people hadn't been killed, that's the scary thing.
Yeah, no,
We're the
it's
5th largest city in America, but yet the unequal playing field and the way people are policed, that is crazy.
Very resistant. Very resistant city right here.
It definitely needs to change. Hopefully, we can get someone in there that makes a difference, like yourself.
Common sense, man. It's common sense. Like, I'm sorry, let me just say it about Deion Johnson's case. Because this pisses me off.
Yeah.
When the officer lied and said that he reached over Deion to get the keys out of the ignition, I drive a Prius. There ain't no damn keys in the ignition. It's a push to start. That should have been a flag off top. And the county attorney, she failed. Because if you have common sense and you know how cars work and you do your investigation, you'd have known off jump. What you reaching over? There's no keys in ignition in the Toyota Prius.
They did not do that. They don't never do a full investigation. They don't.
That's just one thing. That's just one thing.
It's always for the police officer, and that's the problem, is that they're not held accountable. They're always they're looking for ways to accuse their behavior, and that's the issues. Instead of trying to hold them accountable for what has happened. In the Deion Johnson case, didn't he turn his camera off, or did he not have one?
He didn't have one. And again, that's state troopers. But at the same time, it happened in the city limits.
Right.
Yep.
So
state troopers should still have their body cameras on too.
Yes.
Everybody. Yeah.
Everyone.
Y'all are riding up and down the highways, doing this, doing that.
Why would they not have one?
Right.
They're able to stop people and stuff.
We have a lot of.
They're able to stop you. They're able to arrest you.
They gave them days to interview.
Then you should have a body cam.
A lot of stuff was wrong with that case.
Did they go to a grand jury also?
Oh, remember, there's no charges.
Yeah, no charges.
Oh, okay.
No charges filed in that
No
case.
charges, so they didn't have to go to a jury.
Even though that officer had a history of shooting dogs and cats or his neighbors, you know what I mean, stuff like that. And
yeah, I think he had like
again, if we worked
15 complaints against him or something like that.
Yeah. If we worked at Chick-fil-A, we'd be gone.
Right, gone.
This guy's an officer of the law.
Chick-fil-A probably give you 3 complaints. Bye-bye, see you later.
Maybe not even. Chick-fil-A got the best customer service ever in life.
I don't
like
that.
They should be held at a higher standard.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Than a Chick-fil-A.
You know what I mean? I'm just,
But there are some, there's plenty of good officers. I've had good officers
definitely.
across the country.
There's definitely good officers out there.
Homeland. I got friends that work for, different agencies. Of course, my uncle, he's my, but you know how Mexicans, our uncle's really our cousin. So like, my uncle, he's a sheriff in Texas. You know what I mean? So it's like, I respect law enforcement. I know there are officers that do their job. I had an old plate on my car. An officer took out a screwdriver and he put on my new license plate. Wow. I helped him. I told him, I was like, man, I got this plate. I showed him the plate. I was like, I just don't have a screwdriver. I've just been so busy. He goes, get out the car. I was like, so I was like, damn. So I thought, you know what I mean?
Right.
He goes, his partner comes out with a screwdriver and they fix it. So I know there's good officers out there.
Yeah, definitely.
But we got to hold the bad ones and they got to be held accountable.
And it has to be within their departments, it's like my cousin was saying, it's sad to see, it's like I'm here to protect and serve, and there's people that, are took the oath, that are not doing it, and it looks bad on us. And I said,
I had my situation when I was a teenager with some officers, and it was bad cops, man. I got messed up, and that scarred me for life with the damn near fear these officers, you know what I'm saying? And
well, we got to do like this. Every time somebody of color is we get pulled over, our hands, or we throwing them out the window.
Right.
But you got other people jumping out the car crazy, actually threatening the officers, and nothing happens to them. We sitting there like,
we automatically.
You turn on your interior light. You turn on. You rent a light. You have something inside so they see what you're doing. And not everybody has to go through that.
I shouldn't be, and the kids shouldn't be. Excuse me. Scared.
Right.
When they see officers.
Right.
They should be like, that person's here to help protect me.
Your anxiety shouldn't go through the roof when you see a police officer in your neighborhood, in your rear view. Or
that's very important because when they always say that the other person that is being arrested or that's under stress from the officer. Talk about training. These officers have been trained how to act in stressful situations, right? I find it interesting that they expect us and how to act in these situations.
Right.
For us to be fully compliant and us to immediately do everything when we don't take that training. We don't know. Our body's never been in a fight or flight before. Some people, you don't know.
Right.
And so when you're told like this, and then like the guy in Mesa, the kid the man that was shot
in the hotel.
In the hotel room.
Crawling.
You know, crawling.
Yeah.
His pants, his shorts are
His
falling.
shorts fell down.
Like, your human instinct is to pull
them up.
shorts if they're falling off your ass.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And so, but killed. And so when you have people that don't know how to act in that situation, your body's tense, so you
and he was scared out of his mind.
He was scared out of his mind.
And what police officer would not know that kid was just scared? He was scared.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what training do you need to not know? I don't have training, and I saw that kid was scared. He was so scared. He would make any move he makes is because of fear right now. And he wasn't thinking straight. He was so scared he wasn't thinking straight. And dude steady yelling at him, escalating the situation.
He's not trained. That's exactly the point I'm trying to make.
Instead of de-escalating it, he was escalating the situation
by yelling at him
with his demeanor and the way he was talking to the kid. You know what I mean? So the kid is getting more and more scared every minute.
Because we're not trained for that.
And in a sense, we're not trained. The people who are trained, their first reaction is to pull out the gun or.
Well, they're not listening. Why aren't they acting right?
Right.
Yeah.
I never had a gun in my face.
It's at the point now where the community does not trust the police so much. The first thing we're doing now is because that's evidence for us.
Right.
We shouldn't have to do that.
And they tell you don't record, or start recording or something. It's like that. It
should have got to that point.
Never
get to that point.
And sometimes that's not even enough.
That's not exactly.
So I want to ask, as running as an independent, what are some of the obstacles that you've seen so far? Do you seen that since this is more of a Republican state, but it is looking more purple nowadays, but we do have more independents in this state than most other states. Is it a handicap being an independent, or do you think that it's helped you to be more free, to be able to say things, to be more in the middle?
That's exactly right. Because I don't owe any party any money. Kay Gallego is so part of the DNC and the Democrat money that she's raised $3 million again.
Wow.
Marissa Hamilton split parties, went Republican just so she can get that funding.
Right.
Again, I'm less than $10,000, so I don't owe any party anything. I do appreciate the invites that I'll get from either party to attend events, or if they don't send the invites, all right, cool. But it gives me, even on radio, if I don't win, or if I don't even make it to a runoff, you know, hopefully, and we started having conversations again this week at Power, like if I go back and when I start, but if that happens, then everybody's gonna get it. Because I've seen how this process works. I've seen how people are treated if you don't choose a side. That's what they want you to do.
Yeah.
But you're right, because this season, since March, and when people have been registering to vote, there's been an increase of 50% in independent registered vote.
Definitely.
The other parties got 22 and 25% increase. Because people are tired. I think this election woke people
tired
up
of the
to
partisan.
It's so hyper policy, politicized, and this political party's here and there, to where I don't think most of the core values of either of these parties represent anybody anymore.
And the loudest people are always the extremists, and so the people that are in the middle and have policies that's not as loud as those candidates don't get heard as often. So those people get drowned out, and so they think it's the radical left and the radical right, and that's what people hear from.
That's what the Republican Party told me.
Right, and so people get tired of that, and they go to independent on their own.
Somebody from one of the I won't say the organization, but one Republican group had told me that, man, you just have to pick a side, and you have to be really you have to exaggerate everything. You have to go. I'm like, I'm not lying. I'm still have integrity to my listeners. On air. Like, that's the thing. Y'all don't have integrity. This party don't have integrity. People, when you're a politician and these people that are running these organizations, like, their integrity is just gone. I still have integrity. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to sell out, or I'm not going to, like, and this person, and I'm going in, I'm super extreme over here. It's like, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to present the facts. We're going to have a real conversation. You're just never going to win like that. All right, cool. Then whatever, but I'm going to still do me. And so that's been the handicap, is not choosing a side to either get any money per se or real backing, but and I think the biggest obstacle is the write-in. But what gives the write-in candidate at least a piece of hope here is because at the ballots, when you're going to the voting locations, you still have to fill in the oval.
Definitely.
And if you know my name, and you can write Josh, you can write Crisco Kid, it counts. You can write Carmona. Your voice can still be heard.
Okay.
A lot of other states that I voted in, you had to have, it's a wheel, and so like you have your voting. Almost looks like an iPad or something, right? And like it has yes or no, so you gotta.
Okay. Right? So it doesn't give you the option to really.
So for you to write the name in, you gotta go.
Okay.
Right, and so people, good luck.
Right.
Here though, And that's another thing that weighed in my mind is running to be a writing candidate because I knew people can still write your name.
No, and people do it all the time. So, no.
And so, shout out to all the other writing candidates. Edward Hampton, he's doing his thing in LD 28 or the Senator 28 against.
One last question I want to ask though: what's the history on writing candidates? On the
like I say, it's slim.
Slim. Not
But
many
there
have won
was-
that way, or
Well, this primary election, I think he's running for corporate commissioner. He was a write-in candidate during the primaries and won.
wow.
So if he continues to go further, he'll be one of the write-in candidates that actually started that way. And if he wins his seat, it's success story.
Right.
You know, so it's slim, but it can happen.
Okay.
So presidential elections were write-in at one point.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta think like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Write-in can win.
Right. Hey, well, we hey, good luck to you, man,
Appreciate
and we respect everything you're doing, brother. And
I love the questions here, man.
yeah,
I'm sure
man,
you guys got it.
we definitely be looking out for you, man, and making sure your voices, what you're doing is heard out here. So make sure you guys check out his website. It's TomPhoenix.com. And
my Twitter's hacked. I would say Crisco Kid, but I started talking about K Guy on Twitter, and within 20 minutes, my account was hacked.
Wow.
Crisco Kid was hacked.
That's crazy.
It's tough out here, man.
We do want you to play a little game real quick.
Oh, I was about to say, where's my Bryson Tiller question? I'm like, and wait, and by the way,
Miss Monica is still in the building.
babies do have kneecaps.
Oh yeah.
There's a soft cartilage that is still considered the kneecap, and it doesn't harden until another
It's just
age.
not. Would
But
be
it is a
considered
soft
bone.
cartilage.
It's
still called a
cartilage.
kneecap.
It's cartilage, but it's not considered
bone.
a bone.
Right.
Oh, did you say bones?
Yeah.
Bone.
right.
See, I look for that stuff. I didn't hear the word bone.
Miss Monica's like in the background, like, did I get that?
Okay. He said, yeah, it's not a bone. It is a cartilage
It's
at the
cartilage.
beginning. And they do have sight.
They do.
I
Yeah, they
had
have
a little
sight.
app for my son,
Yeah.
and it's called, was it called Baby C? And like it starts off blurry as hell. I'm like, no wonder he don't know who's. He just all look like blurs. And all of a sudden, as they get older, you
Yeah.
can slide or upload their picture, and it shows you kind of like what they're seeing. I'm
Right.
like,
I thought
back up out of this space. You know?
That's crazy.
I thought it was sight at first. I was like, is it sight?
Well, it's not a
They have
bone.
it just
So.
sucks. Let's play, man. Let's play.
All right. You have 5 questions.
Okay.
3 out of 5 correct. We'll donate $50 to your charity of choice.
All right.
You got 3 lifelines. You can call someone. You can Google one, in which case we'll give you 45 seconds to get the answer. Or you may skip one. Are you ready?
Stay ready.
All righty. Miss Tita? The question is, in 1964, the Freedom Summer was a massive voting push to register black voters in which southern state? A, Alabama. B, Mississippi. C, Georgia. Or D, Louisiana?
Oh man. I was gonna say Alabama, but I'm thinking Georgia.
Bum bum ba-dum.
What was it?
Georgia is incorrect.
I knew
You
that.
better get your headphones on. I got
Mississippi,
that
right? Mississippi, right?
No, I gotta do
The
it again.
correct answer is Mississippi.
Mississippi.
I gotta get that noise.
I remember because I picked Alabama the first time.
Yeah, see, I was gonna say Alabama.
Yeah.
I thought it was Alabama.
Then I was like,
too.
nah, Alabama's too easy. I was like, it's not gonna be Alabama.
Question 2. Hip hop and R&B artist Willie Maxwell II is better known by what stage name?
Mm.
A, Fetty Wap. B, Bryson Tiller. C, Charlie Wilson. Or D, none of the above?
I'm gonna go with C because Charlie Wilson, Willie Maxwell. I don't know.
C is incorrect.
God, who is Willie?
Fetty Wap, right?
It is Fetty Wap.
Fetty Wap.
Wow, it's pressure. I'm out there in the hallway like I know that. I know that.
Radio DJ got it wrong.
Yeah, I did. Willie Maxwell. Nobody had to go with Fetty Wap, man. Willie
You
Maxwell.
should know that one.
Oh man,
Man.
Willie Maxwell.
Willie Maxwell.
Yeah, that's-
As soon as you said, I was like, who the hell is Willie Maxwell? Wow.
Call me Fetty Wap, please.
Yeah, Fetty Wap.
How many states are needed to ratify an amendment before it becomes part of the Constitution? A, 3/4. B, 1/2. C, all states. Or D, 1/8.
All right, I can Google one, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm had to
you
Google
can.
this one. All right.
All right, Tita,
Crisco-
put
Crisco's
45
kids
seconds on
the
the
last
board.
questions are easy.
I know that you came with. I mean, my gut wants to say 3/4, but let me just say.
45 seconds? 45 seconds.
Okay, hold on. Ratify. 3/4. I would have got it right.
3/4 is correct.
See?
You're wrong, David. Sorry.
David from the audience said all states.
Yeah, Mr. Burns.
Sorry, sir.
Sorry.
We're going to have to give you the dun-dun-dun.
Good one, though. That's a good one.
Can't believe I'm wasting my go-go. Should have used it on Willie Maxwell III.
All right. During a thunderstorm, which comes first? Thunder or lightning?
Lightning.
What's the answer? Why are you looking?
The answer is both.
Yeah,
So
it matter
you're
where you at.
incorrect.
What? Are we sure?
Yes.
Oh man.
It is both. It is both.
Give him half a point.
But
Because-
light travels faster than the speed of sound.
Right, but it matters how
It
far
is
away
both
from the lightning
because
you are.
they occur approximately at the same time.
Approximately.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you are at a distance
From the
storm,
lightning, right.
you're going to see the lightning
First.
before you hear the thunder.
Right.
So, like your storm chasers, they're seeing the lightning and hearing the thunder at the same time when they're in the middle of the
crazy,
storm.
though.
Right.
Average Joes, we are over here,
We're
man.
over
we
here
ain't.
from the storm.
Yeah.
But if you're right
I'm
under
into
it, it's right. It happens at
Wow.
the same time. It's
All right, well.
contagious.
I'll give you $50 anyway for the charity. Y'all choose the charity. Give me what's the number 5 though? By the way, let me just get number 5.
All right. Number 5 is, what is the common name for dried plums?
Oh.
Dried plums,
Dried plums.
raisins. No, prunes.
You jumping too. You jumping.
Prunes. Is it prunes?
Miss Monica, you jumping.
Yeah, it's from.
Yeah, it's prunes.
Yeah.
Dry,
The correct answer is
A
prunes.
grape is a dried.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you this,
raisin, dried.
but then I'm gonna have to give you this too because
Yeah.
See, I knew I was going to throw a trick question out there and threw the same one out there twice, so I just wanted to
Yeah.
see who was going,
Miss Monica in the back like no.
She like, no, I just had that one.
Right.
I knew it, man. All right, I'll give y'all $50. I'll give y'all $50 to donate to. I don't know. What's some projects that y'all love?
How about this?
$1 million teacher.
$1 million
project.
teacher project.
All right, I'll
How
do
about
that.
that? Yes, sir.
Let's do that. I got you.
Definitely.
Cash App, PayPal, Zelle. What we doing?
Yeah,
We'll get you the site.
we'll send you that cash out.
Definitely. Sir, thank you for coming in. Really
Yes, we
appreciate
appreciate
it.
you,
I
brother.
appreciate y'all, man. Like I said, I appreciate
Thank
the
you.
invite because I understand what it means to extend the platform.
Yes, sir.
And
Appreciate
for
it.
someone to not accept the invite is disrespectful.
Definitely.
So whether I couldn't make it in or if I would have been by Zoom or by phone, regardless,
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate you, brother.
One thing, you make it so easy to communicate with, and we appreciate that. And thank you for going into the community.
Yeah, man.
Making community first.
Definitely.
So thank you for everything you do. And,
We appreciate you, bro, for real.
and,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
Good luck, bro.
Yeah. I think we weren't gonna do anything on Tuesday night, but people are like, you gotta have something. I'm like, if we can find somewhere to social distance.
Okay.
So we'll probably make an announcement tonight.
All right.
Yeah, well,
If
definitely.
anything you do, man, just let us know, man. We'll make sure we
Yeah,
get it
well,
out there to everybody
Thank
we
you,
out
man.
there.
I appreciate
Please.
that.
Appreciate it.
Hey, much love to y'all.
Definitely, bro.
This is DanYo&Tita Podcast Show. We out.
We out.
Holla, holla.
Next Saturday.